Okay, so this dream was very interesting. Um, there was a fiery goat, and it's hard for me to explain just what it looked like, but and I still don't know if I have the full meaning of this dream. But anyway, um, I was in my family's house, uh, where my grandfather used to live, and there was this fiery goat. I look out the window, and there's this fiery goat running across the mountain, and everything that he came in contact with, he's setting on fire. And this goat was like it looked like coals, like burning coals, but it kind of looked like lava or something too. Like it was like a fieriness that I've never seen before. Um, but he ran across the mountain, and he was catching everything on fire, all the trees and everything. He was catching on fire, and he ran up to the corner of the house, and my heart was just like, well, what's about to happen? Like, and he ran up to the corner of the house, and the house caught on fire. And I was looking around, like everybody was in a panic, and I was just like, we got to get out of here. So I ran out the door. Everybody else stayed, and they were just like in a panic. And I ran out the door, and I went to go warn the neighbors. And as I ran to the next house over, there was like waves of fire all across the side of the mountain. But they were like almost like I don't know. It was like a fire I've never seen before. It was a different kind of fire. It was almost like vaporish looking, and it was like waves just coming across the mountain. But I wasn't burned by it. And I went and warned the people at the next house, and they were kind of like in shock, but they it's like they didn't do anything about it. They just stayed there. And then as I left, um, it was amazing. Like even though there was chaos all around me and stuff was catching on fire and all kinds of craziness, it was like the atmosphere immediately around me was like healthy and vibrant. Like even the grass, like even the blades of grass that were around me would like stick up straight and like they were vivid green, and everything was like healthy in my little atmosphere. But everything off in the distance was catching on fire and going nuts. Um, and through this dream, I was thinking about it, and um, in the Bible, a house represents a church. Um, and the symbolisms in, the, in the prophetic books, a house represents a church. And um, but something that I took from this dream is that even when the world goes nuts right at the end, when the last plagues are coming on people and everything, God's children will be protected. I didn't burn. And I wasn't even scared either, but I was scared for them. Um, and it's interesting. I had another experience before where I was at my dad's house and I was changing the oil in my car, and I didn't get burned. It was amazing. Like my friend Carrie, I was trying to show her how to change the oil or whatever, and she was under the car with me, and I'm a pansy. I've got burned before pulling out the oil plug, and right as I got to the end of the threads, like I kept pulling my hand back because I didn't want to get burned, right? And we had just rode like 30, 40 miles right before I changed the oil. So the car was really hot, and I felt the oil pan was really hot, and the oil plug was really hot. And she saw me reaching up and like drawing back. And she's like, "Oh, come on, just let me do it." And she reaches up and goes to pull the plug out, and like instantly, like I prayed in my head. I'm just like, "Oh God, please don't let her get burned." And sure enough, she pulls the plug out. Oil ran down her hand, and it started running into the oil pan. And I was like, "What, are you all right?" And she's like, "No, it's cold." And I said, "What?" And I stuck my finger in it, and sure enough, it was like lukewarm. It was like cold. It wasn't hot at all. And I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" Like, and I stuck my whole hand in it because I couldn't believe it. Like, neither one of us got burned from this oil. And then my dad came out, and I was like, "Look, Dad, like this oil is cold. It's crazy." And he was like, "Man, you're nuts. Are you on drugs or something?" But I touched the oil pan, and sure enough, the oil pan was hot. The filter was still hot. Everything was hot. But when I stuck my hand in that oil, it didn't burn me at all. My skin didn't get red or anything. My dad, he thought we were nuts, so he took a thermometer and stuck it in there, and it was 140 degrees. And but sure enough, me or Carrie, neither one of us got burnt, and it didn't even feel hot. So I just wanted to share that because and in the same sense, John, the Apostle John, that wrote the Book of Revelations, the Roman Empire, uh, they sent him off to the island of Patmos after they tried to kill him, but they couldn't kill him. They stuck him in a pot of boiling oil, and he was just standing there talking to him like plain as day, standing in this pot of boiling oil. But that's why they shipped him off to the island of Patmos. But I wanted to share that though because that dream with the fiery goat, uh, I don't know the full meaning of it, but I do know that in the last days, God's true children won't get hurt. And even um, Ellen White said that in the last days there'll be no martyrs. There's not going to be any death. There's been enough death as it is. Uh, and when Jesus comes back, he's coming back in glory, not in shame. Believe that.